Introducing a new voice for a new market. Featuring some of crypto's biggest stories. Exploring the humanity on the blockchain. BlockCentral's Not a Podcast. Powered by Stasis Network.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to BlockCentral's Not a Podcast.
My name is Michael, and I'm your resident bear.
And my name is Patrick, and I'm your resident bull.
Together, we'll meet in the middle to discuss some of crypto's biggest stories and emerging trends.
Meeting in the middle at Block Central.
I think they get it.
Let's get the show started. All right, everybody, welcome to episode 3 of BlockCentral's Not a Podcast. Today, we are welcoming one of the most well-known Twitter influencers and just crypto influencers in general, Mr. Sjuul, AltCryptoGems. By the way, I don't know. Do you know the Mandela effect? Do you understand this concept, the Mandela effect, where people, like large groups of people, believe something that didn't actually happen? It's based on the fact that a lot of people in the world thought Nelson Mandela died in prison. Like he never actually became president. He was never released from prison, etc. And so it happens all the time where like Curious George doesn't have a tail, like stuff like that, where like people, all these people believe something that actually isn't real. For the longest time, I would call you altcoin gems and not AltCryptoGems. And it wasn't until very recently that I was like, wait, did he change his name? Come to find out, you didn't change your name. It was my own personal Mandela effect where I was misreading your name and then I just believed that forever.
Yeah, well, it's actually a crazy story because quite a few people call me altcoin gems. Still to this day, whenever I have a call with someone or even if it's a project that wants to do something with me, they very often say, "Oh yeah, Sjuul from altcoin gems or altcoin crypto gems." That's the name people call me as well. But no, like you said, it was AltCryptoGems from the moment I started, and I've never actually changed it.
I'm telling you right now, if you were to search Discord channels in Twitter and Telegram, there's dozens of people, including myself, that have called you altcoin gems.
Yeah.
And we believed it to be true. So it's our own little crypto Mandela effect I wanted to share. So everybody knows you as Twitter influencer. You post a lot every day. You're always sharing insights on literally gems, like diamonds in the rough that people otherwise wouldn't see. You highlight a lot of projects. Now, your account on Twitter, the one that like kind of is like your home base and then you branch out from there, was founded in March 2021. So it's a relatively new account. But I want to go back. Let's talk about Sjuul before crypto and before you became AltCryptoGems. and so you're from the Netherlands, right?
Yep, correct. Yes.
And is that your home base still?
Yeah. I still live in the Netherlands. I've grown up in the Netherlands. I'm a Dutch guy. Always lived there, and I have my house over here, my family, my friends. So you don't see me moving anytime soon. My company is actually in Dubai right now, and a lot of people actually think we do it for the tax reasons. But I actually transfer all my money from Dubai to the Netherlands, so I still have to pay my taxes.
Right.
But the main reason for that is that nowadays crypto is it's kind of difficult in the Netherlands, and a lot of financial institutions kind of want to see less crypto being traded in the Netherlands.
Yeah.
So right now, basically, my company in Dubai is the place where I push out invoices or have some customers in Dubai through which I send invoices. They pay me through the bank account. And then the bank account is happy. That's pretty much the reason why the company is in Dubai.
Yeah. Our Block Central company is based in Panama. So yeah, it's a pretty similar situation for us. But so are you a normal sized Dutchman or are you one of those extra tall Dutchmen? Because you guys come in 2 different packages.
I'm actually pretty small. I'm not sure if you use feet or anything like that, but when we use centimeters and meters, I'm 1 meter 75, 76 centimeters.
Okay.
So pretty average actually. And I'm actually considered small if you look at the Netherlands. So
Yeah,
no,
my
I'm not such a tall guy.
half my wife's family is Dutch, and they're the extra tall versions. Like
Ah,
you guys ran out of land to expand outward, so you just started growing upward.
well, yeah, the Netherlands is kind of small, so we need
Yeah.
to map some space.
So, how do you feel about your polders in the Netherlands? Are you guys gonna claim any more land from the ocean, or are you guys done with that?
Well, right now the housing situation in the Netherlands is actually a big deal.
Okay.
Mainly by the fact that we need more houses.
Hmm.
But it's expensive to build houses right now, and we get all these regulations that the houses need to be like it needs to have this, it needs to have that, blah blah blah.
Right.
But the cities, for example, Amsterdam, Rotterdam, all the big cities, they're all packed. It's full.
Hmm.
We just don't have any space anymore,
Right.
and that's an issue. But if you go to, for example, Groningen, it's a place more at North Netherlands, far away from Amsterdam and pretty much the middle of the Netherlands. There's a lot of space. We have a lot of green,
Right.
but no real houses. And for all this time, you've seen that it remained calm. It was empty. No houses were being built. But now what you're seeing is that even because Amsterdam, Utrecht, all these cities is getting packed, that now
Yeah.
people are starting to move towards the less crowded areas. Yeah. So that's happening right now.
Are you guys in the city, or do you live more rural suburb?
No, I live in the south of Netherlands actually.
Okay.
If you actually hear something, that's my dog. He's laying with me, and he's trying to how do you say it? Running around in crazy circles.
I have a big cat that will sometimes pop up on the desk next to
Exactly,
me. So
exactly. Yeah,
he might make an appearance.
yeah.
Um,
If you think what you're hearing, then you know it's that.
so talk to me a little bit about you before crypto, like your education, like I guess you would call like a Web 2 job or like an in real life job. Like what before you became AltCryptoGems, like where is your background like mostly centered around?
I actually studied computer science.
Okay.
Finished my bachelor in it as well, and I did my specialization on cybersecurity.
Hmm.
So the sort of what you say, the Web2 job that I did was cybersecurity analyst. I think was the official or consultant, however you want to call it.
Okay.
Um, and I did that from I think 2018 till 2021, and before that I studied for the job. And I did that for 3 years, 3.5 years at a software company. And basically, they create the entire solution for a customer. So they want a big software project, and I was the one that managed the security part of it to make sure no hackers came in, or everything was well arranged security wise. And I did that for 3 years, 3.5 years. Um, it was great. I still liked doing it, or I still enjoy reading about cybersecurity. But yeah, the crypto part just became too much, and I had to make a decision whether I was going to continue with the crypto part or continue with my regular job, so to speak.
Right.
And I chose for the crypto part.
How
Yeah.
did you make that transition from cybersecurity over to crypto?
It was kind of hard, especially because, like I said, I still enjoyed the work that I did, and that's usually whenever people leave a job, it's because they're in a conflict or they don't like it anymore. And I actually really still enjoyed doing it. I still speak my coworkers from there. I think twice a year, 3 times a year, we go grab a drink, have a barbecue, just because I enjoyed it. And I basically made the transition by I always did something in crypto anyway, or with finance or online, some stuff online next to my job. But eventually, it just got too much. Where during the day I was busy with my job, and at night or in the evenings I was busy with crypto.
Yep.
Until my girlfriend eventually said, "I don't see
Pick
you
one.
anymore." Yeah, yeah. Who are you? You're either with a screen in front of your face, or So I had to make a decision.
Yeah.
I actually went to my to the job that I had, and I said, you know what, this is the case. What can we do? Can we, for example, go to 2 days a week where I'd be doing the Web 2 job, and then switch over to Web 3? And I did that for I think 2 weeks, and then crypto exploded even more. So I just had to make a decision,
Yeah.
and then crypto was the easy one.
So when did you first learn about crypto and Bitcoin and get your first introduction? Because if you were involved in web security and IT, generally people in that field got an earlier introduction if you were into some other field, whether
Yeah.
it's like white collar management or like if you were a plumber or electrician. So when did you first kind of learn about Bitcoin and kind of make that transition into being at least actively involved, even if you weren't doing it full time?
Well, I actually had a lot of luck, in all honesty. And the reason for that is I played a game, like I said, when I was studying,
Hmm.
before the job, actually. I played a game called Counter-Strike. I'm not sure if you've known it.
Yeah,
Counter-Strike
yeah,
Global
yep,
Offensive. It's a
yeah.
shooter game,
CS,
and yeah, CSGO or
CS,
CSS.
CS:GO. Yep, yeah.
Yeah, well, I played that. I was I think 17 or 18, whatever. I played it during the nights.
Hmm.
Um, and if you were able to trade your skins for your
Yep.
weapons. So let's say you've got a pink gun, or you can have a red one. Doesn't really matter. You could change the skins.
Right.
And I played the game a lot. I saw the skins popping up, and I thought, hey, this is interesting. What's this all about? So I checked out some websites, and I actually found out that by using basic arbitrage, basically, you were able to trade a skin for, let's say, $100 on one side, and you could change it or sell it for 120 on another website, basically a betting website or whatever. Um, and the same thing, but then the other way around. So on that website, you could buy something for $120, for example, and sell
Hmm.
it on another website for 150. And that's something
Right.
that I did, in the evenings, and I think I made, let's say, 10K, 20K. Nothing, it was a good amount of money, but nothing too crazy.
Yeah.
But the only way to actually cash out was through Bitcoin. That was the only way
Right.
on the website to cash it out. So I cashed out with Bitcoin. Yeah, I was still studying, so I made that 10K, 20K, but never really used it or did anything with it because, yeah, I thought I don't need it. So I just left it sitting in there. And then, as you know, crypto and Bitcoin absolutely exploded.
Yeah.
Um,
What year was that when you were doing that with CS:GO?
2016, end of
Okay.
2015, 2016, something like that. That's when I started. And I think I did it for half a year or maybe a year. I don't know the exact timing anymore. And then, like I said, I just cashed out because eventually, I'm not sure if you noticed, but eventually you couldn't trade the skins anymore because you
Mhm.
needed to have it, I think, 7 days in your wallet before you could trade it again. So let's say I buy
Yeah.
a skin from you, I had to keep it in my wallet for 7 days, and then I was able to sell it. But yeah, then it just took too long because the idea behind it was, quick flips, quick sell here, buy here, sell here. So it just didn't work anymore. So I just cashed out and stopped trading the CS:GO skins.
It's always interesting. There's a lot of people in the space who got their initial introduction to crypto from video games. For example, Brock Pierce,
Yep.
co-founder of EOS, and he was introduced to Bitcoin from World of Warcraft, like 2010, 2011, like really, really early.
Yeah.
He was actually running, if I remember correctly, he was running like a World of Warcraft like resource farm in Asia. Like he had a
Ah,
bunch of people that were playing the game, farming all the weapons and resources, and then selling them online. And then
crazy.
and some of his employees started talking about Bitcoin. This was real, real early, and then he turned into a Bitcoin billionaire because he got involved so quickly, and he immediately like recognized like the power of this technology. So
Yeah.
it's always interesting to see how people come into the space, whether it's through like just like wild public coverage during a bull market or whether it's a video
Yeah.
game. Like there's some like it's always interesting to hear people's stories about how they were introduced to what we consider like just basically our lives now. Like this is what we do full time.
Yeah. Yeah. And well, the same thing, it sort of happened with me. Like I said, it was just pure luck with the only
Yeah.
possibility being able to cash out in Bitcoin, basically. But ever since then, I still found it interesting. I watched the news and crypto related. And then I think the end of 2020, beginning 2021, a friend of mine said, "Hey, have you heard about this thing called DeFi?"
Yeah.
And I thought, what's this? What's this all about? So I checked it out. And I actually had my crypto bag laying around anyway. So I thought,
Yeah.
I think I did 5K in two coins. One was Pancake Swap.
Yep.
And the other one was Polka Starter, POS.
Mhm.
And I think I put 5K in each of them, and that was at the exact perfect timing when, for example, cake was I think 40 cents per piece, and eventually it got up to $40.
Dang.
And like I said, I invested I think 5K in it, and I pretty much sold at the exact top.
Wow.
Pure luck, once again, pure luck. I just I thought it's time to cash out right now, and I did, and I made a lot of money with it.
That's
Um,
awesome. Selling the top is always the best feeling in the
it's
world.
yeah. I
Buying the
think
bottom and selling the
absolute
top.
yeah. I think the exact top was 42 something. I think I
Mm.
sold my main bag at 41.10 or something like that. It was absolute pure luck.
Yeah.
And pretty much from that moment on, I just made a lot of money with it, and I thought, yeah, this is interesting. Let's do more of this. And then obviously Binance exploded, and the Binance Smart Chain exploded as well. So a lot of projects launched, so many different ideas or narratives that were happening, and I had the money laying around anyway. So I just started to trade nonstop, and I like I said, my girlfriend eventually said, what are you doing? Because I don't see you anymore. You're only trading. Um, and at the end of the day, I traded so many coins that I needed a place to, have sort of bookkeeping, if you know what I mean. At the end of the day,
Yeah.
I just didn't know what I did. Did I make some money? Did I lose money? How much did I make? What coins did I trade? I had no idea anymore.
Yeah.
So one of the place where I could sort of record all the trades that I did, and that's pretty much why I started the Twitter page, and everything that I did, my buys, my sells, my portfolio, pretty much everything that I did, I just uploaded on my Twitter page or posted about it.
Mhm.
I didn't know it, the possibility to make a company out of it, or if you asked me 2 years ago where it be the company that we have today, I'd say you're a crazy guy.
Yeah.
So I just did it for my own use basically, and people thought it was interesting and started to follow me. And that's like you said, March 2021. I think I
Mhm.
created the page.
Yeah.
And I think into that like June, July 2021, the page was at 30, 40K followers when companies started to reach out. Platforms like Binance started to reach out saying, hey, we like your page. Can we do something together? And from that moment on, I thought, okay, I can actually make a living out of this, or I can make some money doing this. So I just kept on going. And October 2021, I made the decision to stop with my Web2 job and then
Right.
go full time into crypto.
That was again. So you sold the top on your real life job. So do you
Yeah.
remember after you started? Because you started the page at the right time, like March 2021. We're leading
Yeah.
right up to that first spike around like 65. We came back down during the fall and then back up to the top
Yeah.
in like November, December 2021. Do you remember a point in time when after you started your Twitter page early, like when you only had a couple hundred followers, a few thousand followers, where some of your posts started to like actually gain traction? Do you remember what some of those were? Like what it was that like really kind of kicked off this trend towards becoming kind of a voice on Twitter?
Yeah, I had created a hashtag called BSC Gems Alert.
Okay.
It was kind of crazy, but at that time I just didn't know what I was doing.
Right.
And whenever I was buying a new coin, I'd add in the hashtag BSC Gems Alert with the the red police signal on Twitter, like the signal ones. It was
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
signal, hashtag BSC Gem Alert, and then another signal, and that was the thing that I started off with my tweets.
Hmm.
Um, and whenever I was buying a coin, I'd post that, and eventually, so many people started to use that hashtag and started to use sort of whenever I was posting something, people were retweeting and saying, "I just bought this BSC gem as well," and that's what I remember. That's sort of how it started, where I just got lucky and was buying a lot of good coins apparently, and people started to follow it, and then they just started to use all my content and were literally waiting for me to post a new BSC gem alert. Um, and that's pretty much how I built the community and how it all started to get rolling, basically.
Right. Power of hashtags and algorithms.
Yeah, it was. I didn't know. I just thought, let's do this. So whenever I clicked on the hashtag, I could always see all my posts that I did. That was basically the idea behind it. But it turned
Yeah.
out to be a great move, and people actually following it.
And so when you started the account, did you start the account as AltCryptoGems or did it have a different name and then you kind of updated the brand?
No, AltCryptoGems, because I was thinking, what do I do? Like, you need to create a handle, a Twitter ad.
Yeah.
So I thought, yeah, what's the stuff that I do? I post pretty much only altcoins. So no, I don't really do anything with Bitcoin, just altcoins. So I thought, okay, we need something with alt. I thought we need something with crypto because it's only going to be about crypto basically. So I thought alt crypto. And what do I
Yeah.
do? Like I said, the gems alert, the small low cap coins that I think are have some value or are basically hidden gems. So I just named it AltCryptoGems, and that's how it started.
That's awesome. And I always like the origin stories of like how people kind of got to where they are. Like Steven's origin story was great because he didn't set out to be, just like yourself. I don't think you set out to be somebody who like ends up being a voice of influence in the space. You were just sharing what you were doing. And Steven was the exact same way. He built calculators because he was trying to figure out the tokenomics and the math behind what was happening with his portfolio. And then everybody wanted his calculators.
Yeah, it's basically the same idea. He just started the calculator, and I just shared all my information, and people, like the content or the stuff that's been created.
Yeah.
And that's how we sort of built the following. And I think that's the best way to do it as well. If you start something or create a following purely for the money aspect of it or the business part of it, I think eventually you'll fall, and that's not going to work.
Yeah.
Because like you said, you see it a lot. If you look at the pages or the bigger pages right now, they're all created because of something like this, and none that are still here are actually there because of the
Yeah.
money or because of the idea behind it, basically.
So that's my next question for you is I was going through and I was Googling your name and your handle and your brand name and stuff. And generally when somebody is well known in the space, controversy finds them. Somebody calls them a scammer. Somebody says they're promoting rug pulls or promoting, just like a bad actor. However, I can't find barely anything bad being said about you online. It's actually it was actually kind of surprising because it's a bit of a unicorn because generally speaking, the larger you are, the more people have bad stuff to say about you. So how do you navigate avoiding that like controversy, because you do post about a lot of projects and a lot of altcoins and naturally because of the sheer volume of your posts, not all of them work out.
No,
but
exactly.
but you also seem to not attract any negative attention from your posts. So how do you go about kind of navigating the space of like avoiding the scrutiny while also being able to share about as many projects as you share about?
Well, basically, I think the big part about that is, or maybe it's a difference with other guys as well. I'm not sure about that, but pretty much what I do is I trade a lot of shit coins. And whenever I do, I post about it.
Right.
I'm not trying to be a guy or or saying that I'm a guy who knows it all and is the biggest mastermind behind crypto and knows all the projects that are going to go to the moon. That's not how it works. I'm a guy, like I said, I found crypto interesting. I had some money laying around and I started to trade, and I actually enjoyed trading. And that's pretty much what I still do to this day. Whenever I find a project or something comes to me, says, hey, this project is interesting, I do my research. And if I think it's a great project, I post about it. That's pretty much what I do. And I think the big difference is that some people are trying to, how do you say it? Act as if they're the holy oracle that know it all. And that's I'm definitely not that guy. I just trade a lot of shit coins and I enjoy doing it. I think that's a big difference. Obviously, whenever you post something or whenever someone asks me, is always say, you can only do it with your money that you're able to lose, or take out the money that you need, and that's it, basically. That's a big difference, which I hear from a lot of people as well. Is I say whenever you have a coin and it does well, it does a 2x, a 3x, you take out your initial investment and let the rest ride as a moon bag, for example. And what I usually say is, if that moon bag does a 2x, 3x again, you take out the moon bag, and then that's the way how you let it sort of ride. Whereas a lot of people or other influencers, so to speak, post a lot of stuff on Twitter, and they say, this is the next 100x, or this token is going to be the next 10x today, or something like that. But I always say to all my followers and all my people that are with me, whenever you get a 2x, don't be greedy. Take out your initial investment and let the rest ride. And I think that's a big difference as well, that the people that follow me know that some coins eventually go to zero, because that's part of the crypto world. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
And that's what I'm
that's
trying
a
to educate on people.
yeah, that's a good key distinction because there are a lot of influencers that are either pumping their own exit liquidity, like
Yeah,
they will promote a project just so they can have enough buy volume to sell into,
yeah,
or they're not invested at all and it's just a sheer like promo play. Where for
yeah,
you, it seems like a vast majority of the things you post about, you're actually actively trading. So you're kind of in the trenches with everybody else
yeah.
that
Exactly.
you know
If a
so like
project goes
you're
bad,
yeah, you're like
I mean,
shoulder
yeah,
to shoulder with people when it comes to these projects.
yeah. If a project goes to zero, it's not that I'm sad just because I posted it. It's because I'm losing a lot of money on it as well. Because I
Right.
usually I'm not. I don't. I think around, let's say, 90% of the tokens that I post, because sometimes you just don't have the time. But I still think it's an interesting one because I have all
Mhm.
my crypto behind hardware wallets, and it's on different vaults basically. So I can't
Yeah.
trade all the time. But whenever I do trade and post about it, then I'm with the followers that are in there. I'm in the same trade.
Yeah.
So if it goes bad, then it's kind of sad for me as well. And I'm a firm believer of, if you start to do like what you said, the pump and dump scheme thing. Let's be honest, you can do it for a week, maybe 2 weeks. You can make a lot of money with it, and then after that, I think people will start to notice.
Yeah.
Even blockchain, everything is public, so eventually people will find your wallet. They will track it. They will find out that it's you that is sort of pumping all the stuff that you post. And then it's really a matter of time before, yeah, your credibility is gone basically.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm a firm believer of that. And I actually still see that some pages that I started off with in 2021 that were my friends, so to speak, that started off with me, that I did a lot of stuff together, they've all
Yeah.
vanished because they started to pump and dump and made a lot of money with it in 1 or 2 weeks. But yeah, eventually their pages just went to zero because nobody followed it anymore or thought it was interesting or credible anymore.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
and yeah,
So
that's what I
how's
think.
so now that you're doing this full time, what's your like day-to-day life look like? Like are you traveling a lot, or are you spending most of your time at home doing like interviews like this? Like you're working on your social media platforms or your brand? What's your day-to-day look like now?
That's a good question, actually. Um, it's if you asked me this, let's say half a year ago, it would have been completely different than now.
Okay.
With the main reason for that is that my profile was anonymous. I didn't have my
Right.
face out. It was unknown because, like I said, I just did it for my own purpose. So I thought, why would I
Yeah.
post a picture of myself? But that was till, I think, January 2023, so the beginning of this year, where I noticed that the page itself and all the, like you said, the channels that are with it, so the Telegram, the Discord, name it all, it just became a company basically. It became bigger. It became a company where I got invited to events. I got invited to speak. I was having dinners with influential crypto people. But I was never able to create a picture with them, for example,
Right.
or take a picture. I always had to say, you need to add an emoji to the face because no one knows who I am.
Yeah.
And eventually I thought, the events that people are inviting me to or to speak, I just can't do it because I didn't have my face out. And I thought, you know what? I think it's time to reveal my face because, one, I can take pictures with people. And I mean, you must understand this. If you take a picture with, for example, CZ, it's always
Right.
good for the the credibility and showing that you're having dinner with him. Um, so that was one thing. The events that I got invited to or to speak, I just couldn't do it. And now I have my face out. I can do it.
Hmm.
And I noticed that I wanted to expand. I noticed that there's a lot of traffic or crypto enthusiasts on, for example, Instagram, YouTube,
Yeah.
TikTok, you name it. And I thought, why would I start creating YouTube videos if my face isn't on it? Whenever
Right.
I watch something, I want to see someone's face. So I thought, let's bring out the face, and then I can do those type of things as well.
Hmm.
Um, that's what I did. And since then, my sort of day job has changed to from basically, like you said, being at home, posting content on the socials, creating some threads, creating Twitter pages or posts. And now basically it is doing these type of things that we're doing right now,
Yeah.
talking with you guys, having projects that are interested with a more like a long-term partnership, or they need some marketing or an advisory role that I have calls with, go to events. My company that's in Dubai, I have to be there anyway twice a year, so I have to go there.
Hmm.
Um, and like I said, the pages that have been growing. So the YouTube video recording that I have to do, the TikTok recording, Instagram reels. That's what I do these days. So
Yeah.
to sort of say what it does exactly, it all changes per day. But let's say on
Right.
average, I wake up, I have my breakfast, I then go to my office, which is we build an office next to my house, so to speak.
I was actually
Um,
following your office build on your Instagram because you have been
yeah,
posting about it. It looks
yeah,
great. You look like
yeah.
it looks really good.
Yeah, it's I just need an office because yeah, like I said, the company has gotten bigger, so more people are working with me now. The YouTube part, I always had to do it in my own home. But then, for example, I have a son of 2.5 almost. He
Mm,
was in bed, and then I couldn't record because I was talking, and I can't hear
right.
myself when I have my headphones on. So I just need a place to do it. When I have calls, for example, with someone, I just need a place to get it all done. So that's why I built the office. Um, and that's pretty much what I do. I wake up, go to my office. I then start with all the messages that I've been receiving over the night or the weekend.
Mhm.
So my Twitter DMs, my Telegram messages, my Discord messages. I get all of those done. And then I schedule all my content for the day, basically. So Twitter posts, YouTube, Instagram, you name it. And then have calls, have meetings with projects, have calls with the people that are working with me to get all my content out, for example. And then next to that, some extra parts that are happening or hot that day,
Mhm.
basically.
How big is your team now? Like from a company standpoint?
Sort of full time that are working with me is one guy is managing my Discord, so the Alt Crypto Talk
Mhm.
trading group. That's one. One person is answering all my Twitter DMs and making some posts for me on Twitter. One guy, Theo, he does my YouTube videos.
Mhm.
One guy, Yash, he sends me scripts to record my own YouTube videos and my Instagram
Nice.
Reels, TikTok videos, and edits all
Yeah.
of them and uploads them.
Cool.
And then I've got a few other guys that help me create, for example, a newsletter, or if I need some a post about new hype that's coming. But those are all, how do you say it, in like a invoice freelance
Right.
base, basically.
Right.
Um, so yeah, the team itself, it's now 4 or 5 people working on it nonstop, full time. And then a few people that are doing it on freelance. And I'm actually getting a new product out, which is going to be the altcryptotalk.com website, which will be
Right.
a news website. I've got one going right now, but I never really used it. Getting
Mhm.
a new website out where I'd be posting pretty much everything that's hot in crypto daily. And now actually busy with a team that's going to get all the content for there as well.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah, that's pretty much a lot of content that's being posted. Still, people think I do it all myself, but I just can't do it on my own anymore.
Yeah.
So I now have the team with me that helps me create all the content, and I sort of manage it basically.
Especially if you want to build out like a multifaceted brand, like you
Yeah,
have to have a team around you that
yeah,
they know what they're doing. They specialize in specific areas and they execute based on what you're looking to accomplish.
yeah. Well, even for example, just a YouTube video, it sounds very easy. It sounds, you just record a YouTube video and that's it. But
Yeah.
you have to think about what you're going to say. You have to record what you're going to say. You have to sort of, find out if you want to record something or show something, you have to find out which pages you want to show. And after that,
Yep.
you have to edit it. Then you find out, oh shit, I said something over here or I did something over here, which, you can't share or is
Mhm.
crazy or whatever. So you have to redo it. And then, next thing you know, you're 2 hours in.
Right.
Um, and that's okay if you do the YouTube part. But I do the YouTube part, the Instagram part, the TikTok part, the Twitter part, the website part, the newsletters, the Telegram, the Discord. So I just I can't do it on my own anymore.
Michael, how do you feel about the YouTube video editing?
I so my background is I actually work in the film and television industry, and I've always been kind of more on the technical end with the cameras and whatnot. My personal hell, so to speak, is anything to do with editing, whether that's video or audio. I've always struggled with it, so I applaud you 100% on being able to hand off that part and being able to delegate, because for me it would drive me insane.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and I have the sort of I believe that if someone else is very good at it, then why would I try to copy it or try to do it better? If someone does it very well, I think he can do it better than me. So yeah, I'm not even gonna try. I
Yeah,
focus.
I feel that
Have like
way. I
yeah,
feel that way about Ian, who is our marketing director. All of our like graphics and stuff for Stasis or for
exactly.
Block Central, everything he does all that. I'm like, thank God.
Yeah. Why would you try to do it? If someone does it very well, then why would you try to do it better? yeah.
How was that process for you building out your team? Because it's so hard when you hit a point where you need to scale and you need to bring on
Yeah.
other people to get to a place where you're bringing on people that you trust and you can count on.
Yeah, that's always an issue, and especially finding good people that want to work with you and want to grow with you. That's hard to find these days. Um, and basically, Theo, the guy that does my YouTube videos, he's a great guy. And he found me basically just because I posted a job offering, I think, on Twitter. I said, you know what, I need
Mhm.
this and this and this. If you're able to do this, then send me an email. And he responded to it, and we had a couple calls, and I thought his content is actually very good. So we, talked about it and eventually got working together. And that's pretty much how I did it with all of the people that work with me. The Discord, for example, the person that does my Discord, he's a great guy, and he works with me since 1.5 years now, I think. And he's a firm believer as well that if the time you put in or the work that you put in, eventually it'll pay off. And that's what we do basically. So yeah, it was hard, especially in the crypto world where you have a lot of sort of the people that want to do, for example, all the chat GPT content that they're making, and they're saying, you know
Yep.
what, this is the great content, we want some money for it, and then you pay them $100 or $200, and then you check the content and you see, yeah, this is too generic, it just doesn't work.
Yep.
You don't want to know how many of those emails or how many of those people I had to sort of go through to get all the people that are working with me right now.
Hmm.
But yeah, I guess that's just the downside of it, but part of the job as well, basically.
This episode of BlockCentral's Not a Podcast is brought to you by Stasis Network. Stasis Network is a DeFi protocol designed to allow users to participate in a unique DeFi fund via smart contracts. Users can hold their STS tokens or earn sustainable passive income by staking and yield farming. The DeFi Fund is a professionally managed portfolio of digital assets in coordination with our partners at DeFi Logic Labs, the premier data analysis and yield optimization company in crypto. This is not financial advice, and please always do your own due diligence. You can find out more about Stasis Network on CoinMarketCap or on their website at stasis.network. Now back to the show. All right, so not financial advice, switching gears a little bit. What's your portfolio look like now? Now that we're kind of bottom of the bear market, we're getting closer to halving. What's Sjuul's portfolio look like in broad strokes? What are you holding? What are you bullish on? Again, not financial advice, but just you personally. What are you most excited about in the next like 6, 12, 18 months when it comes to the market?
I actually posted my portfolio on Twitter, I think 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
I sort of made a thread about it, my entire portfolio. Because, well, once again, like I said, I pretty much share all the information that I have or that I know. And right now, I do always have a distinction between some portfolios where, one, I have a long-term portfolio, where I'm buying, like you said, for, let's say, the next 12 months, 18 months, maybe even longer, we'll see.
Yeah.
And I do my day trading basically. Obviously,
Mhm.
day trading is kind of hard to say which coins because it can literally change within a day.
Yeah.
But long term, I always have a bit of the largest part of my bag nowadays is Bitcoin and Ethereum because
Mhm.
let's be honest, if you're in crypto, I think you just need a bit of that,
Yep.
especially with a decent portfolio these days. And then let me actually take out my portfolio so I can actually
All right, we're getting some good details here.
yeah. Injective is a
Hmm.
coin that I'm hyped
Okay.
about. I actually had a big bag of Injective, but it was kind of boring, so I sold my bag eventually. And then I thought, I just can't resist it. So I bought my bag again.
Right.
So that's one
Sometimes
thing that
boring is
I'm.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I just thought, if it'll come, it'll come. The same goes for Quant.
Yep.
I was actually early in quant, very early in quant, and had a big part of it, and made a good amount of money with it. But I'm
Mhm.
still in quant because I just think it has a bright future if we have a bull run
Yeah.
coming up. And then AVAX, Avalanche.
Yep.
I was a firm believer in the last bull run as well because I like the ecosystem. I did a lot of trading on there, and I just think if once again if we get the bull run, then I think Avalanche is might actually be the next BSC or the Binance Smart Chain, depending on how much development is going on.
Mhm.
So I have a bit of that. And then another two more bigger tokens is Render Token and Woo Network. Those I think will have a bright future as well in the next bull run. And then one low cap coin is called BCube. I think it has a couple million market cap. I actually know the owner of BCube, the CEO, Guru. He's a great guy. I've seen what they've been doing, and I've seen what they're going to be doing. And I just got in touch with him through Twitter and said, hey, we need to set up a call and see what we can do. So I bought a big bag of that because, they're a more like an AI trading platform, and I've seen their bots. I've seen what they've been doing, and I think it's just a matter of time before it'll, it'll skyrocket. But yeah, like I said, non-financial advice, obviously.
Right.
And then a little bit of Alliance Block. That's those are the big, the long-term holds for me.
So is there any particular sector within that's emerging right now that you kind of feel is going to have the most opportunities in the next, year or two when it comes to, like, I know AI is a big one, and right now we're having a lot of conversations about L2s, but is there anything in particular that you're seeing that's kind of emerging now that could potentially be like one of the big narratives moving forward?
Moving like a long-term base, I'm not too sure, but short-term base, I'm not sure if you've seen it right now. We have Base, the chain of Coinbase, and a lot of tokens there are launching right now. There's a lot of volume coming in, so that's what I'm doing now, sort of day trading a lot of shit coins basically on the Base network. I do have to say though, especially with such a new chain, it's extremely hard to trade without getting rugged. Basically, there's a lot of honeypots, a lot of scams on there.
Yeah,
so
that just happened with Bald, I think, in the last 24 hours.
Yeah, actually, like 1 hour ago, they pulled 7,000 ETH out of the liquidity, and that was a big token. So imagine all the smaller ones. So I do have to say that be careful with whenever you decide to trade on there. I'm seeing a hype on bot tokens. So I'm not sure if you've seen that, but basically Telegram bots that are buying up newly launched tokens. And in order to, have the bot or have access to the bot, you need to have some sort of tokens of the bot itself. That's a hype that I'm seeing right now. That's seems to be a hot hype. And then obviously, like you said, the AI hype is still ongoing. Meme season was there 2 months ago, basically, when Pepe exploded. That's in all honesty, I look at more of these type of things, like the short-term hypes, than the real long-term hypes, because that's just what I do. I trade a lot of shit coins on a daily basis. So whenever such a hype is there, I just instantly jump on it and start trading on that one. And then a few weeks or a month, probably, we'll have a new hype, and that's where I'm jumping on there.
Now, how do you protect yourself against situations like Curve, where had you been using them at all? Do you use any sort of yield farming? Because like obviously Steven's like yield farming everything, where you're more of a trading altcoins and then you have like your blue chip bag that you hold long term. Do you do any sort of yield farming? Do you do anything like that where it's more of a long term yield generating situation, or are you more just exclusively trading coins?
I had a very big bag of the sort of a UST, the Luna coin.
Oh, Luna. Okay. So that was last year.
I don't know exactly how much money I lost, but it was multiple. I think between 200 or 300K is what I lost within a day.
Wow.
So like I said, I'm not trying to bring out that I'm an oracle that knows it all, because I still I get rugged as well, basically. But I had the saddest thing about it was that it was my dollar bag, basically. I'm always saying, if you're in crypto, you need to watch out, because it can literally within a day, it can be sort of zero. But I had in my mind, you know what? This is my dollar bag, so the dollar basically of Luna Terra. So that was a bag that was sort of secure for me, if you know what I mean. It wasn't a bag where I thought, you know what, I'm gonna lose a lot of money on this, because it's still a crypto coin, but it wasn't having any volatility. It was just $1, and that's it. So that's the saddest part about it. I don't mind trading a coin and getting rugged or losing on it because the coin goes down, because I know the money that I put into it can go to zero. But this was a bag where I thought, the money that I make with trading with crypto, I'm just gonna transfer it over to the dollar, basically. and put it on Anchor protocol, it was called,
Yep.
for I think 20% yield is what it was. And I had it in there for a year, 1.5 years or something. So I made some money on it, and that was just pretty much the money I made. I just put in there, and then all of a sudden Luna crashed, and within one day, I actually was on a holiday, so I couldn't sell my bag because, like I
Oh
said, I have
no.
everything behind Harbor Wallets as well, so I couldn't
Right.
sell it even. And I saw it for the first day. I saw it going from $1 to like 96 cents or something, and I thought, this is just a small dip, where
Right.
we're gonna see a bounce. No sweat, no problem at all. And then the next day, I checked the status of it, and then it was I think I sold it for 6K or 7K in total.
Oh man.
After a few days or weeks, and then
I think that is like a misconception, especially somebody like yourself. People see you as highly successful, and they don't always understand that you're kind of always playing this like net positive, net negative
yeah,
game of like we're always taking losses, whether they're small, medium, even sometimes large losses, but the net outcome is you're up, and
yeah,
so like we even to this day, you find yourself in situations like, oh, I lost 10 grand on that investment, but I
yeah,
also made 50 grand on this other one,
yeah,
and so I think the reality of the situation is like you're no matter how much experience you have in this space, like you're always kind of fighting this. It's like an endless minefield of things that look good, they sound good, you think they're good, and then something happens like Terra
and
Luna, or like even like
yeah,
you said yesterday, Bald. Like
yeah.
I don't know how many people
Yeah,
were hyping Bald up on Twitter yesterday, and now it's like, okay, all the money's gone.
yeah, it's just gone. But even with
Yeah,
such a coin on Bald, I promote those coins as well. For example, I didn't talk about Bald actually, but let's say because I found it out too late. But I think
yeah,
if I saw it yesterday or the day before, I would have posted about it because I thought it was interesting as well.
right.
But that just happens, unfortunately, in crypto. And
Yeah,
that's what I'm trying to educate people and always trying to say to all my followers and basically everyone that asks this to me. Um, with a coin, for example, like Bald, if you got in, um, I think it did, I don't know, 100x, 200x, 300x, and there are
yeah.
still people that say, "Oh, I put in $100, for example, and turn it into 1 million."
Hmm.
And the ones that do that but haven't sold, I'm thinking, you had luck this one time, but you need to find a way to sort of, like you said, get the net positive one.
Right.
And now you obviously you made a lot of money. But even with these type of coins, I'm always trying to say, if it does well, even if it does 2x, 3x, take out your money and then let the rest ride.
Hmm.
That's what I do and what I try to educate people on. Um, and yeah, unfortunately, we all still have the coins that go to zero and lose a lot of money on a coin. But
I
my
always, I
basically,
always, I
yeah,
always tell, I always tell Michael, there's a difference between a lottery ticket and an investment, and there's
yeah,
too many people in this space who are hunting for lottery tickets.
yeah,
And
yeah,
and the truth of a lottery ticket is 99% of people lose money.
yeah, yeah,
And so what's interesting about your strategy is you're also hunting for lottery tickets but treating them like investments. So
yeah,
like you're looking for those ones that are going to 5, 10, 20, 100x, but you're treating it like an investment in the sense where if it 2x's, you take out your principal, so it's just
yeah,
house money after that, and then
yeah,
you kind of let it ride, and then you essentially DCA out depending
yeah,
on how many x's it does.
yeah. Well, mainly the idea behind it is that, like you said, we're all trying to find the next 100x.
Yeah.
But if you do find the 100x, my thought is, um, let's say you have $1,000, for example. If the $1,000 becomes 2K, and you take out the 1K, so like your initial investment, you still have 1K in that coin. If it
Yeah.
does a 100x, you still would have made a shit ton of money, basically.
Mhm.
Whereas if you do that consistently, you'll eventually get that 100x where you're still making a lot of money. But if
Yeah.
you then do not take out the like I said, the $1,000 or the $500, whatever, on the ones that go bad, basically, um, you're going to lose eventually.
Yeah.
And that's sort of what I'm trying to teach, or what I'm trying to say is that, um, we're all searching for the next 100x. So even if you have a small bag left in that 100x, you're still going to make a lot of money with it. It's going
Yeah.
to more than sort of make up for all the losses that you've made, or the ones that you've sold at a 2x, which would have done a 5x, for example. But if you didn't sell, then you would have eventually lost a lot more money on all the other ones that went to zero, basically.
I think that's one of the biggest dichotomies for traders is traders don't want to cut losers, but they also don't want to realize the gains on their winners because they think it can always keep going up. So they never actually realize profit.
Yeah. And eventually it goes to zero.
Yeah.
Like you said, Alt, it went crazy, crazy, crazy. And I'm 100% sure there's a lot of people in there that, put in $1,000, for example, made a lot of money yesterday and today. And now they look at their portfolio and they're seeing sort of all that money being gone. And sure, it would have been worth less money yesterday if they sold early or sold at 2x or took out the initial investment. But then they would have still made a lot of money to make up for all the losses. And right now, if they didn't sell anything, they lost a way more money, basically.
Yeah. I always tell people, don't put yourself in a position where you don't have capital for the next opportunity. Yeah. So you'll have situations where you can invest in literally every coin that launches. You can do that. You can make money on some, lose money on others. But if you're not managing yourself in a way where you always have capital available and you lose it all in one investment, then the next opportunity that is the 100x, you're sitting there with $0.
Yeah.
And
that's it.
And there's your opportunity cost.
Yeah. Yeah. What I try to do is, let's say you've got 1 ETH that you want to invest or ape or, whatever. When I find a coin and I invest 1 ETH or half ETH, let's say, for example, 1 ETH, if that does a 2x, so it goes to 2 ETH, what I do is I take out 1 ETH because that's my initial investment. I put that in like a new coin where I think this might moon. So you still have that 1 ETH in that original one. And if it goes to 0, it's sad. Obviously, you would have lost the money. But if it does 5x, you still would have made a lot of money with just that one coin. And because you now have that 1 ETH in another coin, you're literally doing that risk-free, basically.
Right.
The only downside is obviously if you put in 1 ETH, 1 ETH, 1 ETH, and it all goes to 0 instantly. But yeah, that's that's the risk of crypto. If it was easy, then everyone would have been doing it.
Yeah, exactly. That's awesome. Now, how do you feel? One last subject before we wrap this up, because I know we're running into a timer here. How do you feel about WorldCoin? Because this seems to be a hot topic with people right now, especially with those that are concerned about privacy and centralizing information. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, in all honesty, I sort of did my research into it and didn't really look at it anymore for the past days.
Okay.
But what I've been noticing is that they've been asking I think it was Sam Altman, right? I think they've been asking him the distribution model and some more information on it, and he just said, "I'm not going to give it, or I don't want to give it, or
Trust me, bro. Trust me."
Yeah, exactly. Trust me. This is going to be the next one on the next. And usually, in all honesty, when I do my research into coins, and that's sort of the answer, I'd say this is a hard pass, and you just move on to another coin because maybe it is the next gem. But usually, let's say 99 out of the 100 times when stuff like that happens, it turns out to be a scam or whatever. However, obviously there was a lot of hype behind it, and I think there still is. So trading wise, it is a good one to sort of try to get the run going when I flow right on the hype, basically. But long term, I think eventually something bad will pop up, and that's it. Privacy wise, I'm not too sure if you want to get your I think it was your eye, right? You need to get your eye scanned.
Yep.
Yeah. If you'd ask me for just I think you get 25 WorldCoin or something. So the reward probably isn't that crazy anyway. Why would someone need your eye scan or your iris scan? I wouldn't do it, basically.
Michael and I were talking about it before about in the history of tech companies, how many of them have promised us that they're not doing something with our data, and then we find out they're doing that with our data?
Well, I'm a firm believer that, in all honesty, sort of China or whatever, they all know everything about you already. If you have TikTok on your phone or Instagram, whatever, pretty much everything is being tracked anyway. And I think the ones that are believing that that's not true, or that they don't know anything about them, I think they'll be wrong. So that is it's a fine line, basically, between, because there is a difference between having an app know where you are, whether you're at home or at the mall, for example, or having your literal eye being or your iris being scanned for who knows what. So there is a difference between it, I think. Yeah.
It's an interesting world we live in because we're always kind of pushing towards this full digitization of life. Like that's just natural. That's the
Yeah.
natural progression of society. However, there's certain lines that we feel like you shouldn't be crossing, or if you do, there has to be
Yeah.
safeguards in place, like strict safeguards in place to like kind of protect the individual from the organization or the centralized authority, whatever it might be. But I don't know. I just think there's a lot of resources put behind WorldCoin, but we don't have enough information about what's happening with the data, where it's being stored. Is it actually being deleted? Because we're told it is once the ID is issued, but do we really know if that is actually happening? You know, there's a lot of unknowns to the point where I'm not going to stand in line to have my eye scanned for $40 worth of tokens. I don't know about you, Michael.
No, I'm good. I'm good. I'll pass on that.
Oh man. Hey,
I've got one question for you, basically. It's sort of not about WorldCoin. What do you think of the entire Twitter to X? Elon Musk X. Do you have an opinion on that, or what do you guys think about it?
Michael, you can go ahead first if you want.
So, there's a couple fun things with that. The first one I found fascinating was if you go back, that's actually one of the reasons Elon got outed from PayPal. And when Peter Thiel took over, was he wanted to rebrand PayPal to X. So this has been brewing in Elon's mind for a very long time.
20 years.
But I find it hilarious that it almost seems like zero due diligence was done on his and Twitter's behalf before doing the rebranding, because you look at the fact that like Microsoft already owns the trademark for X when it comes to social media applications. They couldn't get a building permit for actually swapping out the logo at their headquarters. They had to stop halfway through taking down the Twitter sign. It's just the whole thing is
it's rushed basically.
I feel like Elon is impulsive. Like it's a character attribute of his. He's just a naturally impulsive person. I was reading an article a few months ago when he actually took over Twitter where there are teams of people in Tesla, in SpaceX, where their entire job is to manage him. Yeah. Kind of protect him, like protect the operation from him, not in like not necessarily malicious way, just like kind of like refocusing his attention. And unfortunately at Twitter that team of people doesn't exist. So you have his natural impulsiveness without the buffer of a team of people to stop it from going public. And because everything's just tweeted out, like at any given moment, he responds to tweets, he posts tweets, he makes decisions in real time. And like Michael said, with no due diligence, with no like actual market research, the brand isn't owned by him, the copyright isn't owned by him, and so it's just something where I think I don't think from a PR branding standpoint it makes much sense. Like I think Twitter is already kind of established in the zeitgeist. Like, what do we call a post now if we don't call it a tweet? Like, and so like there's all these questions we have, but again, I don't think he thought it out. Like I don't think he considered it. I don't think he had a team of people sitting around and doing the SWOT analysis on these decisions. He just makes decisions. And like Michael said, it's been brewing for 20-25 years. There's like a sunk cost associated with this, where now he's been wanting to do it for so long, he's gonna do it regardless of what the consequences are. And I don't think at the end of the day it's going to be as effective as he thinks it's going to be. Like, I mean, it's also like you also kind of have to have the benefit of the doubt. Like, is it a Hoskinson thing where he's kind of raising an entire generation of coders on Haskell, and Cardano might be the long play and we don't know, we're all just making fun of him because it doesn't seem to be going well right now, but like in 20 years, like he wants to have X be like half of the financial systems for the world, or like playing a part in that. Like he might actually achieve that. He's got the resources, he's got the like maniacal focus that you would need to accomplish it. However, I don't know, I don't think it's just not, I'm not feeling it right now.
it's hard to say. Like you said, usually Elon does a lot of crazy stuff. It's the same with
Mhm.
Tesla, where when he started off with the electric car, everyone was saying this is crazy. You're never going to be able to do this, or you want to get this out to the public. Good luck.
Yeah.
And eventually, we thought, okay, this actually does work, and great job. And the same goes for SpaceX. Basically, I remember when he was starting off the company, and I think it was the first rocket or whatever that he launched. But people were saying you're never going to be able to compete with NASA. And nowadays
Mhm.
they work together, and SpaceX is turning out to be a real big company, basically.
Yeah.
So I think that, like you said, we might have to give him the benefit of the doubt, where people were saying X is it doesn't make any sense, and maybe in a couple of years we'd say, this actually does make sense.
Mhm.
But that's only something that only time will tell.
Right.
But the thing that I was thinking about is, like you said, he wanted to have X sort of as a brand, or like you said, when PayPal was there, he wanted X already. And the main thing I think people are talking about is the financial part. Like you said, he wants
Mhm.
to create the financial app, or how do you want to call it, for basically the world.
Yeah.
Um, and I'd be thinking, if that is true, then why would he be getting Twitter to rebrand to X, basically?
Mhm.
Because let's be honest, it would have been a lot cheaper to buy up a I don't know, a bank, buy up a crypto project, basically,
Right.
than to buy Twitter. And at that point, I'm thinking there is something more behind it. I think, because if it's just the financial part that he wants X.com to be a financial app or whatever,
Yeah.
I think there would have been a better use for another company or project than Twitter. Um,
I
but I
don't
do agree
think
that's
he actually wanted to buy Twitter. I think he wanted
yeah,
to say that he wanted to buy
yeah,
Twitter, and then he got
and
stuck
then
having to buy it.
yeah, that's sort of my idea. And now he's thinking, shit, I had to buy Twitter.
Yeah.
We need to do something with it. And yeah, let's be honest, he did a lot of shit that where you could say this isn't really right what he did to, fire 50% of the people within the first day. But on the other hand, you could say if they're not needed, if the project itself works, and it's actually going well, then why would you need all the people?
Yeah.
Um, and then
Yeah,
you say
that
you
that
need
goes back to what I said, like what Michael said, like that goes back to like that impulsiveness that I'm talking about. Like
yeah,
he didn't actually like
maybe it's
mean to
good,
buy.
you know?
It can be good, like
Yeah,
bull in a china shop. Like there, he might destroy a lot of things in the process, but at the end of the day, he might actually also create something that is
yeah,
revolutionary, like SpaceX, for example. Like you know, Tesla was something that he acquired. Like he didn't design the cars; like those were already
yeah,
in process. And so with Tesla, like where's the Roadster? We still don't have the Roadster. He promised us autonomous cabs, like 100 million autonomous cabs, and when that didn't happen, he popped out the Cybertruck to distract people. So
yeah,
there is a
yeah,
bit of like
yeah,
sideshow aspect to that, where it feels like some things are distractions and some things are actually like legitimately planned.
yeah,
But there is part of that where it's like with the way he acts with Twitter, because Twitter can be like a means of communication. It is something that like ultimately gives people instant access to news.
yeah,
However, there's also no due diligence with some of that information, and then
yeah,
misinformation gets shared. But it is something that I think by acquiring something that's a means of communication to the world, there is a strategy there. I just think he overpaid for it. Like Twitter
yeah,
wasn't that big of a platform. But again, he impulsively signed a contract and without actually like, as I think like Twitter had activated what like the fire hose protocol or whatever, gave him access to their entire
yeah,
suite of data. Then he never looked at it and signed the contract anyway. And then he tried getting out of the contract
yeah,
and
and then
realized
he
he wasn't
lost.
going to, so he had to go
Yeah,
through with the purchase. So it's like a lot of stuff that if time would had been taken and he had a team of people around him to help him with that due diligence, it probably would have saved him either a lot of money or a lot of headache.
yeah,
But my curiosity is piqued with the whole X thing. I think people in general have very short attention spans, and ultimately they'll
yeah,
choose convenience over almost anything else. So it is likely to work out because of the like baseline kind of complacency of like
yeah,
society in general.
yeah. Well, you see the threats, Instagram created it and tried to compete against it.
Yeah.
Um, But I'm not sure if you've seen the headlines, but I think yesterday the news came out that more than 50% of the people that joined already left again or haven't used it in the past
Yeah.
month or weeks or something like that.
Here's
Um,
my alpha for you, Sjuul. Get active on DBank Stream. You need to set up an account on DBank Stream. So DBank we use for all of our portfolio tracking. They have their social media, which is Stream. You can set up an official account on DBank Cloud, and I'm telling you right now, you sir would make a lot of money posting and establishing your account on DBank. And now because of that, I will take 10% of whatever you own.
yeah. You need to send me some links after this.
I will. I'll do that. It's getting a lot of attention right now because it's so crypto specific, and like Twitter can sometimes feel like it's just being like flooded with spam.
Yeah.
Where DBank is something that, given the way that they've set up their interface, it's very like crypto centric, and it feels a lot more like there's more substance than just spam. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I'll send you some links.
Send me some links. Yeah, you do that. I'll check it out after that, and then create a page and see what we can do.
Awesome. All right. Well, I think we're hitting our timer here. Michael, did you have any last thoughts before we wrap this up?
No, this is great. It's always so nice to kind of get an idea of the person behind the name. We see all over the place on Twitter and Discord, and it's nice to learn about you as the man behind the mask.
Yes.
Absolutely.
AltCryptoGems, not altcoin
not
gems.
Altcoin gems. Yes, or Sjuul. You can call me Sjuul. That's fine as well.
I love it. All right, Sjuul. Thank you so much for taking the time. We really appreciate it. It's great to get to know you. I know a lot of people in your audience are gonna be able to watch this and say that's the man behind all behind all the alpha. This is the man. This is the alpha man behind the alpha. So we appreciate you taking the time.
Absolutely. I appreciate it for you guys inviting me here, being here. I had a blast. And if you guys, get them some questions or you want to do another one, then let's sit down and see what's happening with Twitter or X or the world.
We're always happy to have a sequel. So whenever you want to sit down with us, you let us know.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot for having me. And I had a great time.
All right. Thanks, Sjuul.
Cheers.
Thanks, you too.